What is up, ladies and gentle tips? We are now on the home stretch. We are about to put on our top end. Just to keep things OG, I put the OG yellow fender back on just to make it go back to its OG self. And right over here, went ahead and line these bad boys up so I could teach you guys a little something that I found out. You notice something a little different about these? These are both two OEM Suzuki Dr200 heads, but what's different? This one says SCEM, and that one doesn't. That one's got a different bore, and that one doesn't. So I found out, as I was looking for Dr200 heads to buy, I kept seeing these random SCEM ones. So basically, I think it was 2004, they started making these SCEM heads. And basically, the SCEM, it basically stands for Suzuki Composite Electrochemical Material. And from what I read up, as you can see, they're on the newer heads. From what I read up on, these tend to displace heat a lot better. I think it's different material, as you can obviously see here. And you know, you can look at this and you're like, wait, that looks used. It's because it is. Now, not only did my Partzilla piston end up saying delayed by manufacturer, which means I'm probably never going to get it, so I just put a refund on that. I found this with the piston, with its rings, out of a running bike for 119 doll hairs. Now, just to show you something, like, in comparison, one of these OEM brand new is $301 on eBay. The piston's 75 bucks. The rings are like $54 brand new. So you put those, you calculate that together, and you know, you start to see a thing. But that's if you can even find a place to get them. So I had to pull this route. I'm gonna have a upgraded SEM head on my shit. This did have carbon on it, but I guess the guys that sent it to me went ahead and polished it and cleaned it for me. But check it out. There's my old piston. And there's my new piston. So what's cool too is this obviously came from a running bike. These piston rings should be worn in for this cylinder because it came out of the same thing. And this is from a 2006 Dr200. So I'm going to have a better upgraded cylinder, OEM. And, you know, I'd rather have an OEM used than a new, you know, the Chinese one. So I'd rather have this. So I'm going to be using this guy. We're going to be putting this piston in. And if all goes well, my baby should be all good. And also right here on the side, we emptied the tank and we have it sitting in some seafoam right now. And I'm shaking a couple cycles of seafoam through it to really clean the inside out. And then that way when everything's put together, it'll be sitting, clean it all out. And we'll go ahead and slap her on the bike. So without further ado, let's get started on the bike, shall we? Alright, so remember on the first episode when I thought all I was going to have to do, or the second episode, all I have to do is a top end? Well, now we're back to that route after all the rest of the build. So now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the piston. We're going to apply some assembly lube here. I went ahead and applied some lube on the crank bearing. I mean, lube's lube. You want to be as lubed up as you possibly can. So we're going to lube the inside of this and then get our brand new piston, slide it over, get our piston pin. You want to make sure the arrow's pointing this way. Make sure when you're applying your piston, you always make sure you're putting in the proper orientation. Mine specifically has an arrow pointing up. So we're going to go ahead and grab that, put that baby on. Now you always want to make sure you wrap up these holes because you're going to be dealing with these little tiny pins to lock your piston on the connecting rod. So we're going to go ahead and get that set. Now here's our piston. I went ahead and referenced my service manual. My bottom ring needs to be 120 degrees this way. The top ring needs to be 120 degrees this way. I double checked my oil ring, making sure that none of these little grooves are overlapping, so that's good. And our oil rings are going to be good as well. So we're going to go ahead and slap this baby on. Alright, so we got one of our circlips already entered on the other side, which is going to hold the ring in once we slide it in. And once that happens, we'll be able to just go ahead and put in our circlip here and the piston will be installed. There we go, piston is in. Now I just got to get the second circlips in and the thing's installed. I found one of the easier methods was to set the opening right in the opening ring of this piston, and then it kind of lets it set farther in for you to go ahead and grab it here and kind of pull it through. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do here. Alright, that went in way easier than I thought it would, but it's in. Now, very vital, you see this lip right here? Never have your opening of your circlip in that lip. Once it's in there, use like a little pick or something and push that O-ring up and out of the way so that the opening stay like on the other side. And now our piston's in. Yay! Alright, so now we're going to make sure we're lubing the shit out of all of our mating surfaces here on the piston, as well as our cylinder bore. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the cylinder, toss her on over this, taking your cam chain, making sure she's still on the teeth down there, pulling it through the cam chain hole as the cylinder goes on, mating your gasket to here, and we're going to compress our rings and push our cylinder up into the bore. And then we should be good. And right here, I want to double check once again the gaps. Got our gap here where it needs to be. Alright, tons of lube on the cylinder. Let's go ahead and get her mounted up. Cylinder installed. Fuck yes. Right, I think I need these mounting bolts on right here now. Alright, we got this on. We got our cylinder bolts here. We're going to torque these down to 7 foot-pounds. That's what they call for. Alright, so we don't really have a torque wrench that goes to 7 foot-pounds. My lowest one's a 10 foot-pounder. So we're just going to make sure we tighten these up German style, aka Guten tight. And I remember seeing somebody saying, don't reuse your old gaskets, because I had this triple ply gasket. Someone's like, get OEM if you can, because I guess these are really, they're pretty much like one-time use gaskets, so that's exactly what I did. I got me an OEM crush gasket for this, so we're going to go ahead and clean the surface really good, apply this crush gasket, put the head on. Almost forgot as well, we got this cam chain guide. We're going to go ahead and put this guide in here. Alright, so now we're going to get our cylinder stud bolts here, and they're very important. 2 are copper, 2 are steel washers, and there's very important bolts that you have to put them in specific order, so we're going to do that right now. Alright, so copper washers are going to be these 2. We're going to have steel washers on these 2. We're going to have these guys over here. And these are going to be tightened down to 19.5 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, so let's get this baby torqued down. There we go, 18 foot-pounds, all 4 of them. And, this is what we're going to, as we're assembling everything, you'll see these 2 little lines that are parallel right here. This is how we're going to do our timing as we put on our chain, our sprocket here, we're going to make sure the engine's in top dead center, and we're going to try to align the sprocket's timing perfectly. That way, as everything goes on, everything will be top dead center and timed perfectly, and we'll be good to go. And we're going to make sure we line this up here with our sprocket as we're in top dead, putting the sprocket on, and hope for the best. Alright guys, we're on the home stretch now. I went ahead and got these lips on the edges as much as I could here. All this is torqued down. We're completely top dead center right now. So all that's left to do now is apply us our silicone gasket to the inner holes here and around the mating surface and stick the head on. And then from there we're going to adjust our valves and we're going to call it an engine installed. So I'm sure you guys saw me use this Yama bond on the case halves. I remember you guys seeing me going, oh, I think this thing's been open, and I saw a paste here. Yeah, actually, it is supposed to be a pasty silicone gasket here, not a an actual layover one. So now I guess I was a little dicked there. So now we're going to put a nice little... I'm going to start actually up here, and then I'll move to the other side to get this. Yeah. It's like 7 in the morning right now, so we got all the loud birds out right now. Nice and uniform, shit. Nice. Let's get that head on. Now we need to tighten up our valve cover bolts, and if you guys remembered and you watched when we took them off, same thing applies as we're putting them on. We're going to tighten them in a certain sequential order. So I'm going to go ahead and get the pattern of that. Let's get that started. I had a reference where these bolts were, because I noticed one of them had a washer here and it looks like it was this one. So we got these two tall ones here, and then we're going to be putting all the rest of them in. Then, like I said, tighten them in order. So I took off my valve cover caps so it'd make it a little easier for me to do my valve adjustment. So we're in complete TDC right now. I'm going to triple check that, and then we're going to do a valve adjustment and then throw the valve caps back on, put this mounting brace back on, and we should be good to go. Alrighty, so now I'm going to put my cover back over here. We have us our starter, driver, idler gear, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Alright, got that on. Alright, so I went ahead, I put a OEM filter in there. We got a new spark plug in with our shit on. Also over here, just until, you know, we make sure it runs and stuff, got our new sprocket on here. Got our clutch case on. I'm sorry, your flywheel cover. We got our engine mounting bolts on here, where our valves are fully adjusted. So I'm going to go ahead and fill her up with oil right now, and after that we're going to get the carb pressed back on and get all these wires situated down here, get the gear shifter on, the foot pedals, and give her a once over, verify everything's good, and holy shit. Franny's over there washing the gas tank, making it look all fresh and nice, and that's been soaking in seafoam all night. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some oil in this bitch. So we're going to be filling her up with some 10W40 Valvoline. And since it's a fresh engine, like there's not even a drop of oil in the thing, we're going to go ahead, well there's the Simply lube, but sounds like me beating my fucking mushroom tip. Thankfully this bike has a sight glass. And yeah, I think I'm going to need like 1.1 quart, it says, for an engine overhaul. So I might even need more than what I even have here. Oh no, right at the fill line. Literally as perfect as it's going to be. Nice, nice. Alright, so I think next I'm going to go ahead and get this carburetor on so that I can get the air box all bolted up and all that set. So let's go ahead and do that. I have all the screws out of the air box here. And this is just going to be a matter of jamming this bitch in here and making sure we can get it in here. Alright, now I'm going to get this air filter pushed in. enough to where I can mount it in. Oop, I need this hose right here. There we go. If you see right here, we have our threads for our air box. And then right here, so I'll make sure all the rubber seals are perfectly around it so we can tighten it up, get no air leaks. And then should be good from that. I'm tightening up our carburetor mouth here. There we go, that carb ain't going nowhere. I have some cable lube I bought. I might stick her in here. And then you gotta do a little bit of fiddle in here to get to it, but alright. Oil, carb. So we got our fuel, we got our spark, a new spark plug. Holy shit. I think I'm ready for the gas tank. So I went ahead and soaked the gas tank in seafoam overnight, as well as rinsed it out and poured it out over and over. We got gas, we cleaned the tank, we got the spark thing on here. Went over everything, exhaust is hooked up. All that's left is to see is if all this work was for nothing or was totally worth it. And let's do that together, shall we? Just like that, baby. The DR200 is back in business. Are you guys ready to try this? Oh my god, it's the DR200 back in action. Oh my god, I'm riding the DR200. Does this seem real to you? Does it feel like we're in 2020 right now? Does this actually feel like 2020 to you guys? This doesn't feel like 2020 to me. Holy shit. So we're doing a test run, extremely dirty right now. I put insurance on it. And turns out I forgot to non-op it when it broke down, and there's 714 doll hairs and back fees now. Which should have put a wrench in my asshole, that's for sure. Well, look at this. I'm on the DR200. I am on the DR200 climbing a hill. I am on a DR200 climbing a hill in third gear. God, this is... I can have a tear fall out of my eye right now. The gears are all working, so my transmission install was okay. The one thing I was worried about more than probably anything. My DR200 after 5 years right now. Oh my god, this is so like this doesn't even feel real. I think the carb's a little rich right now, but oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Remember this DR? You remember this DR200? Huh? You remember this? I think the idle needs to be turned down. There we go. Look at this thing. I did this. I split this engine in half, took everything out of it, bearings and all, crank and all, and I put it back together. And it works. How? How did I do this? Oh my god, this is so sick, man. This is like way too cool. think there's one last little thing I gotta do real quick before I bring her back to the house. Oh my gosh, this bike feels like crazy good. I think she needs to see dirt one more time. What do you guys think? This legit don't even feel real right now. Oh my god. Well guys, I think we can successfully say we rebuilt the DR200 to perfection. Oh my god. I know I got a registration fee ahead of me that I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get that paid, but we did it, guys. We did this. We fucking did it. I could like tear up right now. Oh man, I'm just ecstatic right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this journey. I don't even have this tank bolted down. I need to like get everything on properly. But I would say we were pretty successful. Thank you guys all for sticking with me through this. I'm so happy. Until next time, guys. The DR200 is back in service.